Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. So I am Dreamer Has Awakened, and it has been a hot minute. I think it's been years, in fact, since I have posted any videos to my YouTube channel. I think what I was waiting on was to make a logo with my own music behind it. So here we are, and that has officially been created. So now I can feel like I don't have any hang-ups as far as posting videos, because now I could just copy and paste that. It's interesting how something like that will hold you back on creating content and putting yourself out there, just, because you don't have whatever it is, whatever idea is in your mind that this needs to be perfect, or you have to have all your ducks in a row in order to do XYZ, or for example, you have to be perfect in order to be a healer, or you can't have any human problems if you want to help others and guide meditations, etc. So I'm going to give you some context as to what this Ashtar Command video is all about. So back in 2019, I was first having my awakening, and I laid down for a nap in the afternoon, and I had this dream. It felt like a dream out of time. So I was in this dark room in the dream, and a man popped out of some place, and he kind of chuckled at me because I was kind of behaving strangely in this dream, and I guess I did something that made him laugh, and he was kind of amused at me, but in a loving way, and he felt like one of my guides, almost like a fatherly figure. And all of a sudden there was a loud boom outside, and I asked him, I was like, "What was that?" And he said, "Oh, that was the event." And I said, "Well, can I go see?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure." And so I stepped out this door in the dream, and there was a beautiful pink sky before me. I was on this cliff, and there was also a beautiful planet that was very close with some rings around it. And I mean, the whole sky was just beautiful pink, a couple of planets, and out to one side on this cliff, I noticed a being out of the corner of my eye. I was never able to lay my eyes squarely on this being, but out of the corner of one eye, I could see this very tall, he was either very tall, like 10, 12 feet, or he was levitating. One or the other, but he had long blonde hair. It kind of reminded me of Legolas off of Lord of the Rings. So, and he had this beautiful silver chainmail type, spacesuit on. And I just remember the feeling that I got from this being, which was a lion-hearted energy, like don't mess with me kind of energy, very protective, but also very loving at the core. And I felt connected to this individual, but it was still a mystery because I didn't know who this person was. And all of a sudden, they kind of disappeared up somehow. And I didn't know what it meant at that moment, just that they had gone up and disappeared. And all of a sudden, I felt heat on my head. And as I turned around and looked, there was a spaceship flying away. I thought it was like a silver or gray ceiling, but instead it was a spaceship. And apparently this being had levitated up, like beam me up, Scotty, gone up into a spaceship and flown away. And I thought, well, okay, isn't that interesting? Just another day. and then I kind of sat down on the ledge for another, few moments to enjoy the view. And then I woke up. And upon waking, I didn't really know what to think other than, oh, that was a really cool dream. I wonder who that being was, because it felt very real. Well, a couple of days later, I was scrolling on YouTube, and I came across what looked like that being. I saw the white complexion, the long blonde hair, and the same outfit, and I thought, what in the world? This is the same being I had a dream about. And underneath it said Ashtar Command. And what gave it validation for me is that, I'm one of those people that used to have to have things proven. So if I had seen this video and then had the dream, I might not believe that it's real. But the fact that this being came to me as one of my guides prior to even knowing that he exists. That was validation enough for me to think, okay, there's something real to this. So fast forward, a couple of years later, I was living in Orlando, and one day I was reading this book by Neil Donald Walsh, and it's called Conversations with God. And there were a couple of questions that he had asked prior to channeling, and I felt like my own inner guidance wanted to come through. So there were, I want to say, 2 or 3 different questions, and that's what you'll hear on this video. So I had gotten my computer out and just started typing the words that I was hearing in my mind, and it was Ashtar Command coming through with a very clear message, very loving and very supportive. So I had typed that out, and I was going to school for music production, so I had a microphone and some gear, so I put that to words and then put my own music behind it. And I actually ended up sharing it at a Costa Rica retreat, and people loved it. And it's taken a while for me to get everything together to where I felt like I could post this with some context and also have some of my own music behind it, and also have my logo and the music from my logo, and all of these things kind of lined up. You kind of have to be in the right space. So here are the questions that were asked in that book, and then here is Ashtar Command coming through with their answers. I hope you enjoy. Yes, we are with you, dear one. Let's answer some questions. We are Ashtar Command, and we are your guides throughout many lifetimes. When will my life finally take off? What does it take to get it together and achieve even a bit of success? Can the struggle ever end? This is a message for those with eyes to see and ears to hear. We would say that your life will take off when you are ready for it, when you have made the decision that you are tired of toiling in a meaningless way for someone else. Yes, you pay taxes to someone else, where most of your hard earnings, blood, sweat, and tears go to fill someone else's coffers and pockets. We would say that when you've decided you've had enough of this, you will be ready for your life to, quote, take off. To get it together means that you have success in your life as you see it, not compared to someone else's idea of what success looks like. Allowing someone else to define it for you, or to judge your success based on what you think it should look like, this will lead you astray. So follow your own guidance as to what success looks like. The struggle does end when you decide that it can. When you clear out the clutter of your mind, clear out the dark shadows, stare them in the face, confront them, and realize they aren't real. And behind that very shadow and greatest fear will you find your greatest treasures. It has always been this way, dear ones. In this way, you begin to live the happy dream, where things happen as you would prefer them, where love finds a way in and never leaves your side, where happiness abounds and tears of joy overflow on a daily basis, where dreams come true. Let it be so, and so it is. When will I learn enough about relationships to have them go smoothly? Is there any way to be happy in relationships? Must they always be constantly challenging? When you have learned enough about how to relate to yourself and love yourself, then relationships with others will go smoothly. For it's commonly known even that to love oneself, aka love oneself, because we are all one, then someone else will be able to see this love reflected in themselves and want to be with you. Yes, all relationships are about learning and experiencing that which we want to experience. Oftentimes we attract what we most need to see, so that we may forgive and release what we no longer want to see. You can absolutely be happy in your relationships. We would say that it's the quickest way back to God. Relationships are divine. They are your divine birthright. To have and to hold, to experience another God self like yourself, and to witness that in another, brings you that much closer to home, where God and you both reside. Relationships aren't meant to always be challenging. However, there may be challenges in the beginning with someone that you are meant to learn from. Let's say you have a karmic past with this soul and some karma needs to be worked out or balanced. Such is the way of life. You may have a soul agreement from before you were incarnated on earth, for one of you to be the perpetrator and the other the victim. Your need for each other to play that role is the very reason you were attracted to each other in the first place. These roles get played out in this lifetime. Lessons are learned, energy is freed up, and you experience what you have come to experience. For that is what this is all about.